Hey there. This is me again, and I kind of wanted to record a little bit of a documentary, because I know that, if you look into, I have a couple other little videos, and I know if you just see my website and if you, look at my videos or if you want my services or anything, you might kind of wonder what my spiritual upbringing is. I was raised a really strict Christian, so up until the time I was like, up through high school and everything, until I was 18, like a month after high school I left, I moved out of state. I always went to church, maybe once or twice a week usually. I was a pretty strict Christian growing up. And so I wanted to make a video about why part of the reason that I stopped going to church. And again, before you listen to my video, I just want to say up front that this has nothing to do with all Christians. Most Christians are, like 99% of Christians are very loving, good people that will try to help you out. And I'm not saying anything against anybody of any religion, but this story is more about me, and I just wanted to let you know a negative experience that I had when I was 18. So basically, and I should tell you that if you want to look back in some of my videos, like I have a series of like 4 videos about how I dated a narcissist, and this video right here that I'm recording right now, it has a little bit to do, just a small part to do with, it's about him just a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to tell you my story of part of the reason that I stopped going to church. So, anyway, to kind of set the timeline for, what happened to me. Okay, so I was 18, so this is December of 2017, so this is maybe about 6 months after I graduated high school, and I am at this point, okay, so it's like right before Christmas, right around Christmas time, 2007, so this is, so if you look back on my other videos, so this is probably like right around the time that G, my first boyfriend, had just recently broken up with me. Anyway, before I tell you this story, I should also tell you that I don't have a problem with Christians at all. Like I said, that would be kind of hypocritical for me to say that I don't like all Christians, and I think that's very ignorant Christians, or an ignorant comment to make about, people of religions, to say that they're all the same. I think that's kind of ignorant. But, like I said, 99% of Christians, people that are that into religion are really nice people. I think it's a really good thing to follow any faith. But what I'm going to tell you is that I had a negative experience with my aunt. So this is my mom's sister, and basically I have, I should also mention in this video, astrologically speaking, this aunt, she's about 75 years old, and she has Mars in her 9th house, and so that can create somebody that's sort of a religious extremist. So that's also a fun fact if you want to listen to my interesting video. So basically, and this was really embarrassing because this was at a family gathering. So this is December of 2007. So this is like right around the time that G is dumping me. So anyway, I go to I'm just, kind of spending time with my family around the holidays. And I I just recently stopped going to church and everything like that because I moved out of state, but I've always been like a really good person. Like I just try to be as clean as I possibly can. I've never smoked anything. I've never smoked, even tried a cigarette or anything. I don't really drink. Maybe like one glass a year. And at this point, so I'm just right out of high school. I hadn't had sex or anything like that. And so, like I said, I had recently gotten out of a relationship probably about 2 weeks before this incident occurred. G, my first boyfriend, he had recently broken up with me. And basically, this video that I'm making right now, it kind of is explaining about how I had a negative experience with this Christian aunt. And basically, I kind of got into a little bit of trouble on MySpace, because MySpace was real popular, just after I graduated high school back in 2007. I had just gotten on MySpace. And basically, what I did, so I probably made, let me see, I was 18 when MySpace came out, so I probably just had a MySpace account for a couple months. And basically, I would post blogs, sometimes on MySpace, just stupid blogs about my opinion about different things. And I posted a blog about how people need to use, birth control, and people have, access to, contraceptives and condoms and stuff like that. And then basically, so this is before, before the video that I'm recording now. This is about an incident that took place in December of 2007. So I'm going to say probably about the other thing that was kind of crazy is that they didn't like is that probably about a month before, so probably in November of 2007, my boyfriend at the time, G, he had posted a pretty racy comment on my MySpace profile. And he said, when I get you home, girl, I want to throw you on the bed and rip off all your clothes. And anyway, so that was probably those two things, my blog about birth control and the sexy comment that he made, probably happened, around the time that I graduated high school or a little bit after. So basically, my whole family saw my blog about, birth control, and then they saw G's sexy comment, and my aunt, of course, nobody liked them. And my aunt, this religious aunt with her Mars in the 9th house, she just absolutely really, really, really didn't like it at all. She told, regarding the sexy comment that G made, and then my blog about birth control, she just absolutely called everybody in the family and distant relatives and everything like that. So the first thing that I kind of didn't like was the fact that there were these aunts of mine, these other aunts or relatives or cousins or whatever, they were related, but I didn't really know them that well. And I don't even know that my aunt is talking trash about me to other people. And anyway, until I get a message on, so this is probably early 2008, I get a message on MySpace about me, basically one of my cousins, a distant relative that I don't even really know, she said, "Oh, Jessica, we just saw your comments on MySpace, and we wanted to make sure that you are living for the Lord." And then the other thing that happened because of my two, the sexy comments that G had made, and then also the blog, was that my aunt told her sister, which is my grandma, and my grandma called me up one day, and my grandma's like, "Jessica, did you write a blog about sex?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think it's important that people use birth control." And then my grandma, to be honest with you, she was kind of on my side. She's like, well, if people, she's like, yeah, my sister is going around and telling the whole family, blah, blah, blah. And she says, you should, and then I say, are you mad at me? And my grandma says, no. She goes, she's actually kind of on my side, to be honest with you. She goes, if those people don't like what you're posting, then they should not read them. And then the second incident that happened with my aunt on this family, get together. So I'm just letting you viewers out there know that this is really not a good thing, because this is, you have to picture this is like, I'm hanging out with my family over like Christmas, and this is like in front of 10 people. And basically she just, because if you listen to my other blogs about, narcissism and stuff and me dating G, you kind of have to know the history that he had a problem with drinking and girls. And he says something on like his profile. I think that was part of the problem, is that they didn't like his profile, because he says on there, oh, I like strip clubs, girls, bars, hopping, and hanging out. And they didn't like that. So my aunt accused me, like I said, I don't think at the time I've ever had anything to drink. At that time I hadn't had sex or anything like that. And I don't even smoke to this day. I've never even smoked a cigarette or anything like that. And my aunt, the really religious extremist with her Mars in the ninth house, she just embarrasses me in front of a whole room of people. And I guess she didn't like what G had on his profile or something. Maybe she didn't like me being in a relationship with somebody like that. But she turns around and just just absolutely embarrasses me in front of a whole bunch of people, and was just screaming at me and just told me that I'm an alcoholic, and that's ridiculous. Like, I've never even had more than like a glass of wine a year. And she just absolutely went off the deep end, and she was just very embarrassing in front of a group of people. And so basically I am telling you my story. I am absolutely not saying that any Christians are like this at all. I'm sure 99% of them are amazing people. I've had nothing but loving, happy experiences with church. But the story is just more about me. I personally am telling you a little bit about my background and my experience with my personal beliefs about God. Basically, like I said, up until 18, I usually went to church maybe 2-3 times a week. I was pretty religious. Like I said, I hadn't had sex or anything like that. I personally just wanted to share my personal experiences, and that was a little bit why I stopped going to church. That has to do a little bit with the fact that that's part of the reason that I stopped going to church. And then because I had such a negative experience with my aunt just embarrassing me in front of a whole bunch of people. And basically, in my personal experience, I had a bad relationship with a Christian relative, and that's why basically I was like an atheist for about 3 years.